Welcome to Partnership Bliss with relationship navigation specialist Kimmy Avery. In her program each week, Kimmy provides the keys to blissful partnership so that you can navigate your relationship amazingly well and enjoy a foundation of peace, joy, and harmony that frees you to love open-heartedly and thrive in your life. Now, here's your host, Kimmy Avery.
Hello and welcome to the Partnership Bliss podcast. I'm Kimmy Avery and I am your hostess. Today we're talking with the amazing Eva Medilek, who is a relationship style success coach. She helps highly driven individuals restore intimacy to their relationship by helping them use that drive to foster vulnerability and connection. Eva uses her personal experiences along with her leadership and transformational training to connect with and inspire you to have the relationship you desire and deserve. She is an active blogger on the Style Mogul for Success blog. She lives in Berkeley, California with her husband Peter and their four-legged dog child, Lexi. I love dog children. I have one myself named Mouse. Eva, Peter, and Lexi have been featured on House Hunters International, where they purchased their second home in Berlin, Germany. What had you get into this success coaching for leaders? How did it come about that you began to coach leaders?
I spent over 30 years in a profession of dental hygiene, and there was a point in that journey where I became an entrepreneur, and I started my real estate investment company. And I was still working in dental hygiene and building this company, and I was super driven to have that company succeed. So which meant like every waking hour that I wasn't cleaning someone's teeth, I was working on the business and I was building the business. Literally, it felt like 24/7. Yeah. And I know during that time I was building the business, I could feel that my relationship with my husband, who had only been my husband for a year at the time, but as we started getting success and having the accolades and really the business was taking off, I could feel him pulling away because I am the driven one in the relationship and he's more ready to relax and have fun. But I'm like, no, we've got to do this. I'm in my 50s. We have the driven. And he was pulling further and further apart from me. And I could tell we were both hurting and in a lot of pain, and we didn't really know how to fix it. We tried counseling actually, and that literally blew up in our faces, and I believe it just pushed us further apart.
It often does when we're talking about the problems over and over and over again with counseling, and that's one of the reasons why I do relationship coaching, because it's future oriented.
And I remember, right after we stopped using that therapist, and it seemed like we were trying to fix everything on ourselves. And then I discovered that he was falling in love with another woman. And at that point, my world collapsed and I felt the bottom drop out. And it's just like everything we've been working for, the dream of having the place in Berlin and the dream of just spending our summers in Europe. I've been working so hard to build a company that would help us live our dream. It was so scary. We lost the focus on us and the relationship and came more about doing and working to achieve. And I noticed with a lot of highly driven individuals, we're so busy working and doing whatever it takes to achieve success in life that sometimes our relationship falls by the wayside. And we were able to find our way back to each other. We got a coach, and we did do some therapy as well in conjunction with relationship coaching, and have really found our way back to each other and really discovered the root of a lot of the self-sabotaging behavior that not only he had with the infidelity, but that I had with the drive to work, and really came at our relationship with forgiveness, compassion, understanding, and really working together in creation, working separately to create what we need to create in our lives, but working together to support each other. And and then more and more people started coming to me like, how did you guys survive this? I mean, a lot of women, if they feel that they are losing their husbands or their husbands cheated, feel so violated. It's really hard to get past that. And I really saw how badly we were both hurting. And that was the result of all the pain we were in. And we just got to heal that. And it was messy. It was hard. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But we came through on the other side. Of course, in any marriage, it's always a work in progress. But the way we communicate now is so love connected, intimately focused. We came through on the other side, and it's been amazing. And that's how I got started coaching. I was a coach for midlife women, but I found that the core was connection and relationships, and being intimate in relationships for a lot of things in our lives.
Do you find that a lot of your clients are people dealing with infidelity in that situation? Or?
Not necessarily. I mean, betrayal comes in a lot of forms.
Yeah.
Infidelity is just one of them. Some of the symptoms that have manifested in not only my relationship, but in some other relationships that I see is the avoidance. It's really one partner is just avoiding conflict and interaction, so they're not around, they're not physically or mentally present. You could drink too much, go to a party and have one too many, or drink
technology.
home alone. Technology is one as well. Anxiety is also a symptom that comes up because you're holding so much in, you're so emotionally disconnected, and everything's held in. I know of men, my husband and some other men as well, that got some autoimmune disease that came out with skin rashes, panic attacks. There's so many things that kind of we experience that we don't contribute to us being emotionally disconnected and shut off, and really holding things in that manifest physically. I had a lot of neck and shoulder pain. I mean, I thought I would need neck surgery at some point, and I was just holding so much tension and stress in my shoulders that it was really painful.
My background is in Jungian psychology, and I do neurolinguistic programming, that combination, and massage. And I deal with a lot of physical symptoms that you wouldn't necessarily see them as connected unless you're trained in understanding the connection. But someone says, oh, my neck hurts, and they don't link it to I actually had a TMJ situation where I'd never had it before, and I was dating a guy who was really controlling, and he seemed really good on paper, and after 5 months of dating, I broke up with him, and my jaw pain stopped. It just was gone, and there are so many ways that our bodies communicate with us in really smart ways. I had a client one time who had ear infections and vertigo, and she was tired of traveling all the time. And she finally talked to her husband, set it up so that they didn't travel all the time, and they miraculously went away. She never got one again.
A lot of the symptoms that we have in our body is really has a root cause in something else that we would probably never think about. And, unless you really, like you said, are trained to know that this could be a part of something deeper where you get to pull back the layers and not necessarily a physical abnormality, but just something emotional that just manifests physically in us. That's
one of my favorite ways to use our knowledge, is to explore and communicate and love every part of us. It's often the part that's causing a skin rash or a neck problem just needs some attention. Hey, thank you for being there.
A lot of times it has to do with worthiness issues as well, or feeling deserving, or I like to call it your relationship imprint. What was imprinted on you as a child?
Oh, yes.
About relationships and how you react and how you respond, and what models were modeled for you in childhood that you've actually taken into your adult relationships that really probably didn't work for your parents.
Right.
Definitely don't work for you either. And it's just something that we don't realize. We're just carrying that over. And so to kind of peel back the layers of, like, were you listened to as a child? Were you heard? Or was your voice always told to be quiet, don't say anything, don't contribute? And so that puts some deep-seated kind of, well, I don't matter. What I have to say doesn't matter. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to run away. I'm going to do this. And then your partner may not know that history, but may think like, what's wrong with him? Why is he always running away from me? Or what's wrong with her? Why doesn't she want to deal with anything? And so you really get to peel back the layers to see what kind of relationship style was imprinted on you from childhood.
Many people don't even think to look there. And once they do, they either see things that they say, oh, God, I never want to be like my parents. That was horrible. Or I want to be exactly like my parents, which is usually rare. It's not just the two people in the relationship. It's the two people plus their parents, how
And
they
their
were, and generations back. So I'm curious, what fears do you think the highly successful individuals and couples fear the most in their relationships?
A lot of them are afraid of, what if we do this deep work? We peel back the layers. They're afraid of what they're going to find.
Yeah.
And they're afraid it may not work.
Mm-hmm.
If you do go there, what if we do uncover all of this? And yes, it's painful. It could be painful and uncomfortable. But what if we are still unhappy at the end of it? There's a fear of losing control that I know I can speak from myself, which is usually the easiest. One of the fears that I had in accepting that I get to have the relationship of my dreams and the relationship I desire, what if it's not with this person? Because we actually refocused our intention on having a relationship that we both wanted and desired and deserved. But there was also that back fear. What if that relationship cannot be fulfilled with this person? Like, what's next? And that's a real fear, especially when you love that person.
You're right. That's an incredibly strong fear that a lot of people have. They don't know how to save what they've got, but they're terrified of losing it and putting all the effort in and having it not be the right person.
And that's something that is an important part to work through, because basically your commitment is to the relationship.
Yeah.
And your investment is in the relationship. All the work is for the relationship and not necessarily the person, because people are going to make mistakes. We are not perfect. And if you really get so tied up in a particular person, you may not have the relationship that you desire. So I know when I was doing this work years ago, that was the toughest part for me. Like, I love my husband and I wanted him to be happy. And when I found out about the infidelity, I was willing to say, if you're not happy with me, then you get to go where you want to be happy. But he was in so much pain, and we were both in pain. And we were lucky that we found a way to comfort each other while we were both hurting so much because of each other, if that makes any sense. But, you know, in the course of all of the work that we did come to realize there's a possibility it may not be with each other, even though we wanted it to be. I mean, we were fortunate that, you know, we are doing the work together to create a relationship that supports us both and what we need. But yeah, that was a very real fear. But at the same time, living in fear is living in the past. And so we've got to really refocus in just being in present and in creation, and just start creating, and not even look too forward to the future, because that would make us anxious and nervous and worried. Like, what if it doesn't work? And so by staying focused in present creation was something that really supported us, and not being fearful that this may happen again, or being anxious that it may not work in the future. Sure. And so it really is taking a day at a time.
I talk to people about how much energy they're putting in their past versus and how much energy they're putting in their future, and how much energy they're putting in this present moment. And when they look at the numbers and have sort of made up, you know, sort of evaluate it for themselves, and they see, wow, I'm focused 90% on the past where I had an infidelity. Years ago, somebody cheated on me, and now all I can see is the fear. Well, that's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
So being in the present moment, and I love how you said being worried about the future is also an issue. You really can't think about how long things are going to last, how long your relationship's going to last, all of that. If you do that, then you're anxious and worried, and you're not in the present moment to experience the love right here, right now. You've alluded to something that I think is really important, which is there's the work on the couple, but then there's the work that you have to do individually. And I call it cleaning up your own side of the street. You have to deal with whatever fears are coming up for you that may not relate to your partner. He may or she may trigger that in you, bring that up in you, but they may be just doing their own normal life, and you're triggered by something that's not, I don't want to say irrational, but not their problem. It's really something that you have to deal with within yourself.
Oh, triggers are a huge one in relationship. And here's what I have to say about being triggered. And you hit the nail right on the head. Trigger is about what's going on inside of you, not necessarily, even though, they did or said something or looked a certain way that for whatever reason triggered a fear and insecurity, a frustration and anger in you, but it is about you. And one of the ways that I've used in my own relationship when I've been triggered by, and it's we usually get triggered when we feel that we're unsafe or we feel violated or someone didn't respect us, or we got dissed, as the kids would say. And I came up with this where I would say something to my husband when I was triggered, knowing that it was about me, but however, that particular thing he says or does or look he makes triggers me. And I would just approach it like this, first ask, can we talk for a minute? And is this a good time? And I just said, look, your response to what I said or what I did actually made me feel X, Y, and Z. And I know that wasn't your intention to have me feel that way. Because oftentimes it isn't. Nobody is really waking up saying, how many times can I piss him or her off today? And he who does it the most wins. And usually, I've talked to a lot of body language experts on this. It's something that they unconsciously do, that they may not even realize that they're doing. And so the only way that in the beginning, when I was really working through this, was just to say it, call out the elephant in the room, and just let him know. It's like, it's nothing to do with you. I just want to let you know how I feel. And I know it's not your intention when you do that. And I found that it started happening less and less. And now when it does happen, I actually just remove myself from the situation, give myself a good talking to, and I'm not triggered for as long because I just act like I haven't seen it and haven't heard it. I know it's about me. I recognize it. And it's just being aware. It's all about being aware and then move on. And in the past, I know, being a driven individual, if I was upset about something or was made to feel a certain way, I'd pounce on it.
Yes.
Why did you do that? What does that mean? Why are you making that face? Because let me tell, and I would always be in that charged up state, which, made sense that he would want to, run away.
Avoid it.
And avoid me at all costs. Yeah. So that's me just taking ownership of how I was showing up because of the stress that my business building was putting on me. It was a hugely stressful moment. And that was one of the symptoms of me being stressed, was being charged all the time.
I talk a lot about in my work how our energy, it puts out an electromagnetic frequency that is, no matter whatever it is, will be picked up. So if I'm coming from anger or frustration or cranky, my partner's going to feel that. And they're going to either avoid it, if that's the case, or I'm coming from love and open-hearted and owning my side of the street, what I'm responsible for. I just want to let you know that I got triggered by that. I know it wasn't your intention, but that brought something up in me. and I'm responsible for how I react. It's such a gift to yourself when you get that. And
Yes.
when you can take yourself out of the conversation and pause and talk to yourself and love yourself, set your intention for the way you want to be in the relationship at that moment when you've been triggered. All of those things make a huge difference in how our relationship is going to ultimately be.
So empowering to be in control of your response to a situation, and that to know that you can control the outcome based on your response. I see that as a superpower.
Yes.
Like I could react being triggered, or I could react being love, and in love I get this response. Like one of the things that I started implementing in my own relationship that really supported me was when I felt triggered by something he said or did for whatever was going on in me, I needed a hug to know that it was okay, and I was safe, and I know it wasn't in his intention. And my husband is German. It's not a real huggy society.
Right.
So we also have some cultural differences as well. But I get to ask for what I need to feel safe and supported.
That's so important. It's so important.
When I feel that from him, I can melt. I can get out of my charged state or my trigger. And he's in contribution to making me feel good, which all men want to do for, well, I would say every partner wants to do for someone they love, to be in contribution to making them feel better. And so he gets to have that. And, and slowly over the years, I'll now get a hug without asking. I mean, sometimes he forgets and I'm just like, I need a hug. But I get to ask, and I don't get to be pissed off that he should know I need a hug.
I talk about the platinum rule of relationships, and that's to do unto others as they would have you do for them. Yeah. And your husband, maybe he's not a touchy-feely guy. I'm flashing back on dating a German guy years ago. He was not that way. He was not a touchy-feely guy. Yeah. And I am. I mean, I did massage. I'm a kinesthetic person, and I need touch. And to have him, your husband, have Peter show up for you and give you that hug because you need it, and you are masterfully asking for that from him. What a gift to both of you, because he knows what he can do to win, and you're getting your needs met. Yeah, that's really powerful.
I'm no longer offended that it just doesn't come to him naturally. That's okay. But I know I can ask for what I need and get it. Now, if I asked for what I need and didn't get it, then we'd probably have some other relationship problems.
Sure.
But he's willing to do that for me. And, and I get to ask him what he needs, because, there are a lot of us that grow up very independent and not knowing how to ask for what you need, and are used to taking care of your own needs. Yeah. And in relationship, that doesn't always work because it leaves the other person out. And so there's so much of this dance that we need to do to support each other in creating those connected relationships.
Your relationship is going to look different than anybody else's relationship. And that's okay. And that's as it should be, because you two have co-created what you desire. And that's the power. And knowing that it doesn't have to look like somebody else's, and it shouldn't, because you two are unique individuals, I think is really important.
For the couples to find what works for them. And I always liken it to a dance, because, we both sexes have both masculine and feminine energy. Yep. And so we get to really dance with that energy with each other and learn what works. When it's time for me to tap down the boss lady,
right,
it's fine, and be more of a receiver. And because it's really powerful to learn how to receive. I come from, I want to give. I'm a mom, I'm a dog mom, I'm a people mom. I'm just really giving and doing. I've always been that way. But for me to sit back and learn how to receive is powerful.
It's so powerful.
It's so powerful. And it's a part of doing that dance with the masculine and feminine energy, I like to say. And some people put a negative connotation of masculine and feminine, but it is what it is. We have both in us, and learning how to dance with the other person's is the fun part. I mean, there are times when he wants me to be boss lady because, he's an avoider, and I was like, I don't want to do that. You do that. My kids used to say when they were little, Mom, we need you to get ghetto on somebody for us.
Right.
That's how we called the boss lady mom. She got ghetto.
Right. Mama bear is not
Yes.
feminine, really. It's actually highly masculine. You know, I'm going to take care of my babies, right?
Yes, yes.
And that's one place where couples really clash when when a baby comes in, Mama bear shows up where she might have been receptive before, but typically she needs to learn how to be receptive.
Yeah.
But let's say she was receptive before, baby comes in, she's in Mama bear mode, and then they're clashing. I have a lot of couples like that.
That takes it to a whole different level when you're clashing over the childcare portion. That's a really tricky one as well.
We're coming close to the end of our time. So I know, Eva, that you have a special gift for our listeners, and I would love for you to tell us about it.
Absolutely. I have put together a guidebook that I use in every situation I am, whether it's relationship, whether it's business, whether it's my own goal setting. And it's called the Dream, Declare, Deliver Guidebook, to really helping you. There's certain steps in really creating results in your life, wherever you want to create results. You first dream it, declare it, and it gives you the steps to get that delivered. So I put together just a guidebook. These rules apply to anything you want to create in life, any goal that you set. There are certain ways that you just hold yourself accountable to getting it done and not letting it be another one of those goals that fall by the wayside or that you didn't have time for. So I am happy to gift that to your viewers and listeners. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fabulous. And I love the name. Say it again. Dream,
Declare, deliver, because everything starts with a dream.
Yes, absolutely. If you don't dream, you can't create anything, right?
That's so true.
And so many people are afraid to dream. So I want that. I think the gift is going to be, I'm going to super enjoy that. And I want our listeners to go get that through the magic doorway of partnershipblissgifts.com. You can go there and get Eva's gift, and it's Dream, Declare, Deliver. I love that. And I am so grateful for our time together, Eva. It was really wonderful having you on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Kimmy. Thank you.
We really need to help women practice being receptive, because men really want to contribute to us. And if they can't, because we are too busy taking care of ourselves and too busy being boss lady, there's no room for a man in our lives. If you are feeling drawn as a listener to Eva, please take her up on the gift. And if you want to meet with me, you can go to meetwithkimmy.com and get a relationship breakthrough session. And I just want you to know I love you and I support you on your journey. And thanks again, Eva, for being here with us. Bye. Thank you for listening. I hope you take what you learned today and practice living in integrity and on purpose so that you can create partnership bliss. I'd love it if you would take a moment and comment, rate, and share this podcast. It would mean the world to me. And be sure to go to partnershipblissgifts.com to get your special gift. See you next week.